And we're on.
Welcome, everyone. This is session 5 of the 5-series panel on the art of collaboration. If you want to expand your business in 2018, and you have come to the right place, because we are talking about one of the fastest ways to grow your business, which is through joint ventures, partnering with other women, joint projects, just being able to work with someone else to propel your business forward. And today, the topic is turning relationships into money.
What?
I am one of your co-hosts. I am a business coach, author, and retreat leader, and my partner in crime is KeeKee.
Hey, I'm KeeKee Cornelious, business coach and digital nomad, and I help women start businesses they can run from anywhere, people.
Yes, and we are so excited to be here. We have a great panel, and we want to start with the introductions with the panel, and then we're going to do a short snippet on what is it to turn relationships into money, because that may be a new term for many of you. So I'm going to start with who's on my right, which is Michelle.
Good morning. How is everyone? I am so glad to be here. I'm Michelle Edelin, the excellence engineer, and my superpower is I work with women primarily, some men, but primarily with women, and I help you to move from just existing to excelling, and excelling with intention, excelling with momentum, excelling with a purpose, and excelling with a plan, so that you know where you're going and you know when you get there.
Yay. Thank you so much, Michelle. And now we'll move over to Adrienne.
Great. Oh, there we go. Great morning, everyone. My name is Adrienne Dawkins. I'm a former event tour manager turned travel specialist turned wealth builder within the travel industry. I help both men and women, but like Michelle, primarily women, to be able to earn additional income from anywhere within the travel industry.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. And last but not least is Teresa Howard.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Teresa Howard on WOM Enterprises. We do publishing and promotion. We help you turn your ideas into a book to expand your brand. Everyone should have a book to make themselves the expert. And you can sell it from anywhere because it's on your website. And so that's what we do.
All right. Thank you so much. So, KeeKee, before we get started, not only do we want to do a baseline on what turning money into relationships, but those who are tuning in for the first time, we want to tell them our story.
Ooh.
How we got here.
So Pat and I got here because KeeKee needs someone to keep her in the box, people. No. Okay, not in the box, but on the flap of the box so that she doesn't fall off. But Pat and I got here because we met each other online first through a community and a coach that we shared, and then we met up in Utah. It was for a retreat last year. No, before Utah, we were in New York together.
Yes, we were in a business retreat 2 years ago in October.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Crazy. Okay, so it's like I've known her forever, I swear. But we decided when we were at that retreat that we really wanted to do something together. We didn't know what it was going to be. And then when we met up in Utah, we were like really serious. We shared a room and we thought, now we really got to figure out what is this thing that we can create together. And I got this idea to do the Work From Anywhere tour where we're traveling around 10 cities within the US and abroad. And I'm going into cities where I know other women who have the same goals and vision as me to affect other women's in businesses' lives. And Pat is one of those women. And we got together and decided we wanted to create an Art of Collaboration retreat. And Pat, the more that I've said this story this week, this really gets to me, is that the foundation of what we really wanted to do was do a collaboration. Do you get that? It really just started with just an idea to do a collaboration. And then we decided, because of what we've gone through, including Pat sending me a questionnaire interview request, people, because she wanted to make sure that I was serious about my goals and my dreams and what I had in store and whether it was a mix for her. But in that, we decided that we really wanted to create this event. So we're doing a retreat in Dallas on January 27th, where we actually go deep into what we've been doing behind the scenes to create a collaboration that's win-win for both of us, including, you know, the things that I've done where I just say, okay, Pat, I have this good idea. And we have Michelle and Adrian, Teresa and Stephanie and Chris, and they're all going to come and do a panel with us. I'm still on the box. We're still talking about So that's pretty much how we got here today. And it has been a ride all week. We've been having some fun. We've been having thought-provoking conversations. We have really dig deep into what joint ventures are, the type of mindset you need to be in to have a successful joint venture. We've talked about networking, do's and don'ts, you know, not going up to someone and just kissing them in the mouth as soon as you meet them. What we really mean is, let's have a conversation before you spill on me exactly what you want to do, what you do and what you want me to buy. And we've talked about building relationships online and how not to just send me a link to your website with that product that you're selling this month because we just became friends yesterday and I don't know you yet. Okay, that to today, where we're going to be talking about turning relationships into money, which I just know is going to be a deep conversation. It's going to be, if you didn't think we were real for the last 4 days, we are about to get serious with you today. And we're going to dig deep into the pay-to-play model, which could be sponsorships, which could be going into an anthology, which can be becoming the owner of your own and becoming your own travel specialist, to hiring a coach. These are all what I would consider pay-to-play models within the entrepreneur space. So anytime that we're exchanging money for goods and services, we're paying to play in some type of way in our lives. And I say play because I don't work. I love what I do too much to say that I work every day. So that's what I'm saying by play to pay model. So do you want me to just go straight on in here, Pat? Because I've been up all night thinking about this. I'm just
okay. So, you know, there's some examples just to take it a little deeper. Mm-hmm. Some of the traditional pay-to-play that you may be familiar with is when there is a conference, mm-hmm. and they are looking for sponsors, and in that play-to-pay, they put you on their documentation, their brochure, and they do marketing. Mm-hmm. So that is one way to pay to play, which we are familiar with. You're a sponsor, you pay X number, they promise you're a vendor, and you show up and you're a vendor selling your products, or you're in some form of marketing documentation. But there's another view of there's another avenue, and that is that I recently have learned about, is where you pay to play to be a speaker in a conference.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that, KeeKee?
Okay, so this is the pay to play to become a speaker. I'm glad you brought that up, Pat, because this is probably the first time I had ever heard of this model or had been introduced to this model called play to play, where, because, you know, most of the time when you hear speakers, you imagine that you're going to go out and be a speaker and you're going to get paid for speaking. You don't imagine that you're going to be paying to actually go to speak on someone else's stage. But at the same time, what you're not thinking about is that all you have to do when you're thinking about paying to play as a speaker at someone else's conferences, you're doing the same things you do, hopefully, if you were speaking for free, because you don't want to speak to a dead audience. You're doing marketing just like the host is doing the marketing. The host is paying for all of the people to be there in this space that you're coming in. So it's like investing in your business. And when we think about it as an investment in your business and being able to stretch your marketing dollars, stretch your marketing message, just as get in front of a crowd of people where not only you, but 6 other speakers may have invited their community. So you're getting in touch with a bigger community and affecting more lives than you could if you were by yourself. So when you think, this goes back kind of to mindset on Tuesday, what we were talking about is that I know I'm going to give a story here, an example. And it'll cover, as far as I'm concerned, anything that I sent in that packet could be anything. It could be, you could have been a speaker, you could have been a sponsor, you could have sent your marketing material to be in grab bags, you could have been a vendor, whatever that pay to play is. So when I put together the panel of these lovely ladies that you see here, I put out, except for Teresa, Michelle started out with that, but she ended up, Teresa, Adrian, and Michelle, they are actually sponsors of the Work From Anywhere tour. Carmen, who you see here, is a panelist. Pat is a co-host. We all have a relationship where Pat and I haven't exchanged any money yet, but you best believe at the end of the retreat, we will co-mingle and get into where this relationship turns into money. Carmen came on in the story I'm going to tell you about, a girl who posts a post on Facebook and says she's looking for panelists to talk to about collaboration. I really only wanted maybe 7 to 10 women. Maybe 7 to 10 women. I already knew Pat and I were in. I already knew Teresa and Adrian were in. Stephanie, another sponsor, I already knew they were in. So really 7 to 10 more women to complement us during this Art of Collaboration retreat, marketing, promotional event, right? So I sent out I got 50 people. I was overwhelmed, people, so overwhelmed. Facebook put me in Facebook jail. I could not send out any messages because the information that I was sending was a link to a Google Doc, which was actually a panelist sponsorship packet. And in that packet, it told you exactly what I was expecting from panelists, what panelists expect from me, and the investment, pay to play. Yeah. And you couldn't at that point. Now, I'm not a kind of person who, I just don't take money from anybody. I want to know who I'm getting into bed with financially. So it wasn't that now that you know that you can be like, you click this, I'm looking for 10 panelists, be one of the first 5 and yada, yada, yada. It was like, next step, if you are serious at this point, you will set up an appointment to talk to me, because the investment, you've seen the value in the investment of being a panelist from the things that I'm promising for you and that I expect, that you expect from me. And I know that there are also people who did not click and did not say they wanted to speak with me any further, because there was I'm not going to pay her to be a part of her panel. Who does she think she is? Like, why would that even make sense to me? Well, it doesn't make sense to you if you don't see an investment in yourself. I can't make you see the value of it. Mm-hmm. And what we have to do as entrepreneurs when we're out turning relationships into money is we have to create products and services and give of ourselves in ways that people see value in what we are giving in return for them opening their wallets. Yes. It has to be more fluff than you seeing freedom or being able to hold freedom. It has to be more than, one panelist, Bonnie, she was on with us earlier this week when I had this conversation with her, and the same thing I'm telling you is about, I could just feel people saying, who does she think she is? There was an energy in the air. I could hear, it's like, I could hear the voices. I don't care if you think I'm crazy. It is what it is. I am, though. So, but I knew that. But at the same time, Bonnie said that this is the thing, KeeKee, maybe we should change the wording on it. Because I didn't see it as paying to play. I didn't see it as sponsorship. What I saw in it was an opportunity to market my business for a minimal investment and be able to see that investment grow with the people that you have connected with you. So it's not that you're just investing in me as a part of it. Michelle, Adrian, Teresa, Carmen, Pat, they're not just investing in me because I want to do a work from anywhere tour. What they are invested in is that we have mutual goals. We have mutual visions. We all want to change the world, and we know we can't do it by ourselves.
Right.
We know we can't do it by ourselves. I don't want to do it by myself. Pat is good at keeping me on track. Teresa is good for motivating me and telling me, okay, you need to do this marketing wise. Adrian keeps me dreaming about being on the road and traveling and being able to, had I known Adrian 10 years ago, life would have been very different for me. There would have been some things that just would have happened sooner. Honestly, just sooner. I wouldn't, and then Michelle would have been the one who would have talked me off the ledge. Carmen, she would have made sure that I was taking care of my body. So it's not just about exchanging money and turning money into relationships. Sure, money is a part of it. Money is a part of it. I don't mind spending money to invest in my business, but I know that with the women that I attract and the women that I'm connected with, it goes way beyond an investment. Mm-hmm. An investment. So I want to hear from anyone on how you've used this. Aside from us working together, the pay-to-play model or sponsorships or spending money to do business with other women in business. Teresa?
All right, well, I'm going to jump in.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Everyone can hear me clearly? Okay, great. Well, great morning to everyone again. Wow. KeeKee, wow. I mean, every single day has been amazing, but you just hit every nail on every head and then found some more nails and hit them on the head too. There's something about it, and I don't know if maybe we should change the wording from pay to play. I don't know if that has a negative connotation attached to it. Yeah.
Something just came up for me in that. Let me just hold on, Adrian. I want to share this.
No, please go ahead. I don't want you to forget it.
This is the thing that comes up for me is that sometimes we all get a lot. Like, I can get free information. I don't need to pay you for that. I can get this for free. I can Google this. I can Google that. But at the end of the day, if you as a business owner are unwilling to invest in your growth and development, then why should I, as a client, invest in you?
That's it right there.
Absolutely.
So true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So true.
Yeah. That is absolutely it. And, I'll tell you something, the same way I think you stated her name was Bonnie, had mentioned to you, well, maybe we need to reword it so it would help someone, help that reader to be able to understand a little more. I'm kind of in that same place of, I think I may need to tweak and reword because my play is serious play. It is serious play that is offered, and it boggles my mind sometimes that someone else may not see that bigger picture and what's being offered, and then in turn look at it in a sense of, well, hey, I thought this was woman power, I thought this was girl power, I thought that you would just. Well, this is woman power. This is girl power.
And
empowering women, and it starts with you empowering yourself.
Right.
So we can be empowered together.
Yes.
Because again, there is the way you mention each and every person and the value that they bring. Mm-hmm. Yes, and Pat, even in a sense, Pat, and you may not look at it that way because it wasn't monetary, but when KeeKee had mentioned, well, Pat sent me a survey to see, what I was about, and if this aligned with this, and if this aligned with that. I even look at that. See, it's about the I need some sort of qualification. I need some sort of requirement. I need something from you first. I've got to make sure you see the value in what's here,
Right.
that there's going to be a mesh and a connection, and then let's proceed. I'll tell you something really quickly, and then please, I want to just pass it along. I have an amazing, I'm going to pass that baton, toss the ball. I had an amazing opportunity, and I still do. I won't name the show or the network, but I'm on there frequently. There's a television show. It's a nationally syndicated, Emmy-winning.
Sure.
I took a picture holding it. Emmy-winning talk show. And I said, from looking at myself on a show one day, you know what? I don't want to just shop here for jewelry. I don't want to just shop there for clothing. I don't want to just go here for my hair. So I myself was looking for sponsors, the same way an event would say, hey, sponsors. I know there has to be a makeup artist out there somewhere relatively close to me.
Right.
You be that makeup artist. And it's amazing how many didn't take me up on that offer. And I thought to myself, oh, let me be a makeup artist. I'm on it. I wish I did make earrings. I wish I did make clothing or something, because to be there and seen by millions for years, because it's in syndication and it's national. So it's I think it probably goes back to that the mindset. When was mindset? Tuesday?
Monday?
Yeah. Yes, it was Tuesday.
I think it may go back to Tuesday.
Just opening
and
that
the mindset, because you really have to see that value.
Right.
You do.
That value with you first, what it was that they did and what they bring to the table or connection. But
it's priceless, isn't it? Those connections are priceless, because the value, it's a marketing decision. It's a marketing decision that you're making as part of your strategy, that in the areas where you make an investment, that the return is going to be, it's going to be many more times than that.
Right.
And it's just taking your perspective from here to here in ways that have been unconventional, that are now becoming the trend in marketing. So I'd like to go to Teresa. And Teresa, can you give us an example of how you're taking your marketing dollars and working in this area of a new trend of paying to play?
One of the things we did, which we sponsored KeeKee's tour, but not only that, we do a lot of small marketing. We do a lot of events, put in the swag bags, get on their pages, because I need new women to write. One of the ways we use pay to play in my business is the anthologies. We give you a chapter for a small price that a woman can get into, and then she can do her bio in there, have her business in there. That is a forever marketing, because that book is always going to be on Amazon. And not only that, everybody who's in there with you, 25 to 30 women in there, they're all selling to their tribes. And so your information is getting into each of their tribes by them selling the book. But I think one of the things that with me that I learned is that people have to have skin in the game. My grandpa used to tell me that all the time. They don't have any skin in the game. They're not going to push as hard as you. They're not going to go as hard as you. You're going to be carrying dead weight, and I've learned that myself. A woman will tell me her story. I will feel like, oh, I want to give her a chance. Her story is so, amazing, empowering. She just doesn't have the money. And so I will gift her a spot in the anthology. And then what happens is she don't make a deadline, or she don't do her story correctly, or she don't show up for any of the marketing deals. She doesn't do anything because she doesn't have any skin in the game. And so that's one thing I think we have to learn when we are collaborating, is to make sure that the person on the other end fits our needs, fits our branding, and also has as much in there as we do, so that we're not holding everything up on our end and the other person's not investing.
Yeah, that's good. So Teresa, as a follow-up on the anthology, when women are putting in a chapter in your book, are they making an investment, a financial investment, to be in that book?
Yes.
So
We require a financial and a time investment.
okay,
You
so
have to agree to market. You have to agree. You have to pay your fee and agree to market, because that's one of the key things. You know, the anthologies are beautiful, and I've gifted them, and I've gifted publishing sometimes, and sometimes it don't work. It's more trouble. People have to be invested in it. They have to be willing to take that step, see the value in it, and really invest in themselves. And sometimes as women, I think we have a real problem with investing in ourselves. We say, oh, well, you know, that money could have bought the kids some more shoes or some more clothes, or we could have went to McDonald's once or more. You know, these things that we see as tangible value. You know, we don't see that investing in ourselves, either in hiring a coach or getting, you know, that new book that inspires us in our industry, whatever it is. We have to invest in ourselves, because if you're not investing and growing, how do you expect other women to invest in you? How do you expect them to take that leap if you're not doing the same? It's kind of like paying up. Everybody needs a coach, and everybody needs, you know, you need to be growing and expanding at the same rate that you want to be growing and expanding your clients. Because if you don't have anything new and you're not learning, you're not passing it down, like the trickle effect. You're not passing it down to those below you or who are following you.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So pay to play is not only, in Teresa's example, being included in a book and with one chapter where there's an investment. What I'm hearing also, it's an investment in yourself. To pay to play is getting a coach. To pay to play would be being a sponsor, as some of the ladies here are in this tour that KeeKee's doing across the nation. So there's a variety of ways, and I'd like to get Michelle's take on how she's using pay to play, or how she's investing in herself and in her marketing, really, because typically the pay to play is to give you exposure to an audience that you don't normally have access to right now.
Exactly.
So one of the things, thank you, Pat. One of the things that I've encountered in attempting to have pay to play is kind of what the other ladies have already said, which is people being reluctant to participate. And I think there are a few reasons for that. There is the just the misnomer, if you will, that women can't get along.
Right.
And we have totally debunked that myth today. My dad used to always say, if you see one exception to the rule, you have to change your rule. Well, we have been the exception to the rule this week, so that rule now has to change. Women can come together. Women who don't look alike, who don't sound alike, who are not from the same places, we can come together and get something done. So that myth is now gone in the waste paper basket. I'm that one.
Thank you.
The second thing I find is that people are fearful. And it's interesting because they're fearful of failure and success equally. You know? So I think we all understand the whole fear of failure.
And success.
The fear of success is equally as real. You've never experienced the kind of success that you might experience. So Adrian, when you were trying to get a makeup artist to come on this nationally syndicated Emmy-winning show, it just blew their minds. Because they had never experienced that level of success, and so they were afraid of it.
Yes.
So I have worked diligently to be a part of a pay-to-play, or to participate in a pay-to-play situation, and I am so happy to say that I have come upon a young lady, and she and I are planning a pay-to-play relationship in 2018. So this is going to be new ground for me, but ground that I've been trying to walk into for the better part of a year.
Wow.
I am so excited. She and I are in the beginning stages of planning. She's a life coach, and what she finds that people come to her for business, their lives are torn up. I find people come to me for life coaching, but they're trying to run a business as well. And so in that And um,
you were seeing it more and more, and it's such a need to be able to change the mindset of women that you don't have to do things by yourself.
Right.
And that joint ventures can be as simple as a 1-hour stage presence, giving a presentation that you're gifted on.
Yeah.
And going ahead and making that investment to be on that stage, knowing that the return is priceless.
Absolutely. I've actually had people try to convince me not to pay to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, I don't anymore. I used to try to explain to them, you know what? If I get one client from speaking here, I've been paid.
Absolutely.
If
I sell one book.
Yeah, if I get 10 people to join my Facebook group, the Excellence Academy, then I've been paid. And so you have to stop. You have to change. I don't want to say stop. You have to change how you see things.
Right.
That takes a transformation in your mindset.
Yes.
And unfortunately, everybody is not ready for transformation. We talk about transformation. We talk about personal development and growth. And as a life coach, I see it all the time. I see people, they talk about it. And I'm like, but at some point, you're going to have to be about it. You're going to have
some action.
Yeah, you're going to have to take some action. You're going to have to do something with all of the talking, but everybody is not ready. And so KeeKee, for you to have had that many people respond to you who are ready, and I mean, maybe at varying levels of readiness, but I'm encouraged that you had that many people respond, because I'm like, they're out there. This gives me hope.
Just got to find them.
Right. I was overwhelmed. I literally was overwhelmed. Like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't expect it. I really didn't. But I'm glad that the ones who were supposed to be here came to the front, because this has been the best week.
It's been amazing. I know, Teresa, you wanted to jump in and share something?
Yes, I wanted to say that as women, we have to learn and teach others to move from the mindset of competition to the mindset of collaboration.
Yes, ma'am.
I publish and promote books.
Well said.
But I have at least 8 to 10 women who do the same exact thing that I do. That we collaborate, we promote one another's things, we push, we help one another, we help critique our businesses, we help grow. If they learn something new, they bring it to me, so that we all are doing well in our businesses, because there's room for all of us.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that you found out that, she publishes, well, let me unfriend her because I don't want her learning stuff from me, because that's the mindset that we have. Oh, she's in the travel business. Well, click. Nope, we're not friends, because you have that competition, when the fact of the matter is you could come together, hold an event, and split the things that you come into, split the contacts that you get, share the knowledge that you get, collaborate on putting books together and publish, co-publish it and split the monies. There are ways that you can work together. Right. I mean, there are things that I do better than my friends who publish, and they'll send them to me. I don't have time for this one, Teresa. Can you work with her? And then, it'll go the other way. We'll do the same thing. And that's just something that we as women have to learn. That competition word needs to go away. There's no need for it. And when we get stuck in that competition mindset, we're all by ourselves. And it says, if you want to go by yourself, that's fine. But if more come with you, you will accomplish more. Yeah. And so you have to make that decision.
Exactly.
And like Michelle said, I think fear is a big factor. Yeah. My word for 2017 was fearless. I decided I was going to jump at every activity. I wasn't going to look and try to analyze it and spend a week thinking about it. I was just going to leap and see what happened.
Right.
And it's been great. It's been a wonderful year because of that fact. Because last year, I would have analyzed KeeKee's little deal to death. I'd have spent a week talking about it. I'd have called a friend. I'd have told my husband. I'd have discussed it with my graphic people. I'd have said, well, what do y'all think? Can she really go anywhere? Or is she just going to be talking to me from California with different backdrops? You know, there would have been, in my mind, would have just analyzed it to death. But instead, I just said, where do I send my money? Sounds good to me. Let me tell you what I can offer you. Because that's what we have to do. Sometimes we just have to leap.
Right.
And have faith that it's going to work out. Just like paying to speak. I've paid to speak several times. I hear all the time, oh, you should be a paid speaker by now. The fact that I invest in someone else's dream, an event, is my decision.
Right.
Because guess what happens?
Oh, I like that.
I invest in her event and dream. It flips back around. I have an event. I have a dream. I have a book coming out. I need you to purchase it so we can take bestseller. There they are. They're all buying their book and leaving a review. Because that's the way it works. You give, they give. That's a collaboration.
Oh, thank you for that, Teresa. Thank you. When you talk about competition, Olivia, she was my Work From Anywhere tour co-host for the Denver stop. She says, and she's a branding, she says, when you're authentically you, there is no competition.
That's right.
No one can, sure, I can teach you every one of my steps behind the scenes, but you are not going to be able to get on the call and give my coaching clients what I give them.
Right.
Because sometimes this stuff that comes out of my head, I'm like, I don't know where that came from, but this is what just popped up.
I'm as shocked as they are.
Right?
But I hope you wrote it down.
I know, girl. I'm as shocked as they are sometimes. I'll just be like, oh, I don't even know where that came from. But Lord, it was good.
I know. Sometimes I'll say things and then I'll say myself, wow, that's tweetable.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so we continue to learn. And I think one of the things that as we start opening women's minds today, in that investment in you and in your marketing goes beyond what you may have been comfortable with. And so now we're asking you to get uncomfortable with a strategy that you may not feel comfortable with. And when you're thinking about if this is resonating with you, that you're like, okay, paying to pay to speak, paying to play to collaborate with someone else is something different. Then the next step is, where is it that you would want to pay to play? Where do you want to make your investment dollars, and start budgeting those kind of dollars where you would want to be a sponsor, where you would want to be a speaker on somebody else's stage, where you're going to look for that partnership and you know it's going to require a financial investment to get that partnership going and being successful, where you can be part of a book, which can be a legacy. And looking for those opportunities, we're asking you to look at your marketing and your investing in a different way, so that you become open to opportunities that today you may be ignoring because you're saying, I'm not going to pay to do that.
Right.
Right.
So that
true.
So that also goes into things like, I mean, I don't even know how we did not say this, but even investing in yourself to go to a retreat. A one-day retreat, like the one Pat and I are going to. I go to at least 2 to 3 conferences a year. I try to, because I like to get around women who are doing business like I'm doing business. I want to be able to see who's out there, what they're doing, get inspired by the women that I go and see, maybe possibly co-create with her sometime later after we meet at that event, like Pat and I did, Carmen and I did. It's like, you never know. So it's like, invest in your growth and development in whatever way you see fit. When we say playing to pay, it's like paying to play in your life. Paying to play in your life, not in ours, but in yours, so that you can up the ante in the things that you want to do. Take us out of the equation, other than the fact that we have an audience that maybe you haven't touched on, because we've grown that audience, right? We can give that to you. Anyone who you are coming into business with has an audience. We hope that audience is the audience that you want to reach. That only makes sense. Why else would you be connecting with people to do joint venture partnerships or collaborations unless you wanted to reach a different audience, right? So just when we say we want you to change your mindset, it's all about playing in the game of life and investing in your own growth and development so that you're the best you that you can be for the people that you want to impact. So that when you get on the stage and you talk to this whole new group of people that you haven't even met before, so that you can affect a whole nother atmosphere that you didn't even think you could touch before that time. Today, just before I got on this call with you guys, I was on a call with a girl that I met at the Barcelona portion of the tour. And when we initially connected, she said she loved me. I was a good speaker and she loved me, right? So I had to pay to come to Barcelona. I had to get here. I got paid to speak, but I didn't get paid until 30 days after I was there. So it's not like, you can say KeeKee, no, I prepaid for that. But we met at that event and we decided we wanted to connect together. And do you know, like I talked to her today and we're thinking about something for 2018. Mm-hmm. Something big.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Right?
So when you're looking at paying to play, there's different ways that you can take a look at it. And I keep coming back to that because in paying to play, I'd like to hear from you. What criteria did you use to play in that space? Not only is it in coaching, but several of you have paid to play to speak on stage. Mm-hmm. So what was the criteria that you used to make a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to pay in this space?
I like it.
Who wants to go first on that one?
I think one thing you need to make sure is that their audience is somebody you want to reach. Is their tribe somewhere? Does it jive with what you're doing? Does it fit your brand? Is it where you want to be? Is it people who would be interested in your services? I mean, I'm not going to pay to play to a conference that only has best-selling authors, because guess what? They've already published. I mean, I want to pay to play to a group of women who are just starting their entrepreneurial journey, who are just beginning, who are looking to expand their brand maybe, or who are looking for more ways to market that is a one-time investment and that pays over and over again. That'll be my tribe. I don't want to speak to people who are on the New York Times bestseller list, because that money is just going to go by the wayside. They're not going to be the people who are going to need my services. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that you have to really make sure of, is that where you are, that the people you're speaking to. And another thing, I'm not going to play to men conference, because even though I have published a few men, I resonate with women. That's who I coach. That's who I help. That's who I work with.
Women on a mission.
99% of the people who publish through me are women. And so I think I have 5 men in the whole 2 years that have published with me. Mm-hmm. And so that's, I think that's one thing you have to make sure, is that you're using your marketing dollars in a place where you can get return on your investment. Mm-hmm. That person. And I also, because this ain't my first rodeo, I also want to make sure that the person having the event has a track record, because I don't want to show up and speak to some chairs.
Okay.
So I want to make sure they've had an event before, they actually have some ticket sales, or they can fill the room, because that has happened to me before. The only person I'm speaking to is the other vendors. Not a great group. But, so you want to make, that's one of the things that I personally use to check. I want to see how their last event was. I want to check them out, and make sure their audience, like KeeKee's audience, was perfect for me, because she's looking for women who want to work from anywhere. And I'm looking for women who can write from anywhere, who can publish from anywhere. So, works perfectly for me, So that was one of the things why it was great.
I'm going to jump on, if I can, and add to that qualification list. I hope you can hear me all right, because something just happened with my volume. You can?
We can hear you.
Wonderful.
You're cool.
All right, so I'm going to take what Teresa said and just keep adding to that checklist. Passion.
Yes.
Passion. I need that other person to be so daggone passionate about their vision and passionate about what it is that they do over here in their space, because I got it with my space and what I'm going to bring. I need you to have that passion and to use Michelle's word and to do it with excellence. Because if you have that passion and you're willing to do it with excellence, we're a dream team. So now we just have to get everyone else on board to be a part of this dream team. I really do believe that, along with Teresa adding that as well, and just about anything can happen. I know that sounds dreamy or lofty, but I truly do believe that, because it's, and then we need a Pat in the mix. That's why I said we have to get the rest of the dream team, because we need someone to just keep that structure and keep us on task. But it's that, to me, that is such an important criteria. You have to have passion about who you are and your space, and do it with excellence. So everyone else is doing the same.
She done took excellence, Michelle. Where are you going to go from there?
I would add to that. That you, I check the credibility of the person. And when I say credibility, I mean their personal social media, their business social media, because, you can sometimes have a business persona that is exceptionally different from your personal social media, and that disconnect, it'll show up eventually. They may not show up right away, but eventually it's going to show up. And so you have to pay attention to that. I think it's important to vet people, just as KeeKee, just as you vetted each of us and you asked us questions and had us explain our philosophy, and then you went to check us out. You didn't just say, "Oh gosh, yeah, Michelle, you sound great." You went to excellence in all my business.
I'm a little stalkerish.
Well, you have to be.
You have to, yes.
You have to be a stalker to a certain extent if you're going to be in the pay-to-play space, if you're going to participate in joint ventures, because you have to make sure that you are protecting your brand at all times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's due diligence.
Yes.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
In all your, when you're investing your dollars, whether it's in any of the modes that we just talked about, sponsorship, speaking on the stage, collaboration, conferences, do your diligence.
Yes. Yeah. And 3 words that I would also add: integrity, character, and ethics. Yeah, those 3 are so critically important.
Oh yeah.
And no matter what space you're going to play in, those 3 have to be in place. You have to have those 3. Right. But who you're entering into a relationship with has to have those 3 as well.
Yeah, because we come with expectations.
I'm sorry?
We come with expectations.
Yes, for sure.
And sometimes they're unspoken. Like you're looking for things like, I wish she better not. Did she just post that? I'm just gonna have to watch her for a minute. I mean, because I've been burned by some people on social media, just from that business to personal persona, and not doing due diligence. So this is where it came from. Teresa and I really met because of one of those deals, like a bad deal. And I thought that I forget sometimes that people have personal representatives. Mm-hmm. And even when you get on the phone, they may be different, right? They're just like everybody. Like, I mean, until you do something wrong or off the wall, I love you. And even if you do something wrong, if I really love you, then we just gonna have to have a talk and hash it out. But I think what Pat said, and what I think the due diligence part is really that way you make sure that any type of collaboration or venture that you come into with another business owner is a win-win. I can't say this enough. I want to say it enough so that when you get out of this collaboration, you're not getting out because you've been burned. You're getting out because the project is done, and then you are actually considering doing something together again or keeping it moving. Like, how can I go further with you?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
where are you going next? I'm sorry.
And I think in relation to when you begin to invest in those opportunities where you're investing to speak or in your marketing or whatever that is, and you actually do you track and you track what your return on your investment, and you also allow yourself to know that you may not get a return immediately,
Right.
but they will remember your name, and maybe they're not ready to work with you at that time, but down the road, maybe a year or two, they'll come back and say, oh, I met you at this conference, or you spoke here, or I picked your book was given to me and you had a chapter in there. And you need to allow the person, the energy of those women who are attracted to you to evolve and connect when they're ready. And so not judge and say, well, I'm not doing that again because I didn't get anything out of it.
Right.
Right? It's
So true.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
true.
sometimes even when it goes south, even when you get burnt on the collaboration or the investment, good things come out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, someone else. I mean, that's how KeeKee and I met.
Yeah.
We were both the same person.
Yep.
And I felt that I was in a place to gift and help because I knew how it felt to be burnt and I wanted to make it right. So that's what I did. And I reached out and said, hey, let me help you. I'll make it happen for you. I understand how it is to have your story and have things go south. But even when you're in that,
when you with that other chicken, I ain't thinking about you. I'm gonna need to talk to you. I don't even know.
And the thing is, when I got burned at the time, I thought it was the end of the world. I'm just gonna let y'all know. I crawled in my bed and told my husband to tell people I was no longer here. I was just sick. I couldn't take phone calls. For 2 days. I didn't get out of bed.
It was bad, y'all. It was bad.
It was bad when I got burned because I got burned enough that she nearly took my business with her. That's why I do due diligence now. She nearly took me down from the starting gate. I mean, I was just beginning to coach women to write. I wasn't even publishing. I was just coaching them to write their stories and ghostwriting. And she nearly took me out. But what happened was, because I got burnt from that collaboration, she catapulted me, actually shoved, made me, because I had to step on out of my comfort zone because I had 50 stories had to be published. And I had to learn really quick how to publish. But what came out of that was my business. So even when it doesn't go right, sometimes the universe flips it around, and it's because I could have published before. I was talking to them. I was doing all of the one-on-ones with them. I just wasn't publishing. I was telling them how great their story was and why they needed a book. I had all of that in place. I was just scared to step out and publish. Because I was like, oh, that's an unknown territory. I had a lot of fear, with that.
It is.
And so what happened is the universe said, watch this. Come out from under you, fall on your butt. It's about to happen whether you like it or not.
Wow.
And so that's what happened.
This is happening.
But I look back and I say, greatest day of my life. Thank you for not doing your job. Because now I have my business. And this is where I fit. And I can do it around 13 grandchildren. My 14th will be here the 14th of this month. Yeah. I can do it around school programs. I can do it around traveling to San Antonio, because KeeKee inspired me. And one weekend I just found a conference down in San Antonio, and I just invited myself to it. I contacted the lady running it. I had met her at a couple of events before, and I said, look, I think I could offer a lot to your people. Let me come. I will speak to them. He was like, okay, come. So my husband and I jumped in the car and spent the weekend in San Antonio. I told KeeKee, I didn't even know if I had the money to get us back home from San Antonio. I was just like, I'm going to San Antonio, regardless. We may have to hitch home, but I'm going to San Antonio. And for me, it was a freedom because we never go anywhere. We never do anything. We always stayed right here. I worked right from this little office in my house, and I didn't travel out because I thought, oh, what if the internet connection's not good? What if I can't put that book up? What, all these what ifs will go through my head. And then finally KeeKee was like, I'm going to Barcelona. I was like, if she can go to Barcelona, why I can't go to San Antonio?
Oh my God. So let me.
God, wow, Teresa. So, thank you for sharing that story, because the lesson that came out from listening to your story is that we need to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And there are many of you who are listening to this call that have never done a joint venture. And so it feels uncomfortable to even think about doing it. And KeeKee and I get that. That's why we put this Art of Collaboration retreat together to help you go through the process in a way that you're supported and you can be successful in doing your first collaboration.
Right.
And we give you a retreat. We take you by the hand to get you through your first collaboration. And we give you the templates. We put you around very successful women that you may want to collaborate with. We take all the topics we talked about this week and more to a deeper level.
Right.
So that you can feel comfortable and confident that you can go away with a joint venture that is a win-win.
Right. Right. So you can have your yin to your yang, like Pat is to me, so that you can have that person who maybe, you have that person who pushes you off the edge, right? Because you need to be pushed. So we want to really invite you. If you are listening to this replay, you are listening to us now, even if you want to join us, we want you to come and join us in Dallas in January on the 27th. I cannot wait. It's going to be my inaugural event back into the United States, and I can feel the USA love already. So we want to thank you for being here. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Carmen. And thank you for joining us this week, Baird. We enjoyed you and your questions. Talk to you later, everyone. Goodbye.